The following content is based on real-world events and publicly available cybersecurity reports. While dramatized for educational purposes, it does not intend to identify or defame any person or organization.
He thought it was a drill. He was told it was a simulation. Until the moment the alarms turned real. Until the moment the intruders weren't actors, and they were already inside. A fake war exposed a real one. You're tuned in to Decoding Cybersecurity. I'm your narrator, Rakesh Nayam. And today we're diving into one of the boldest digital war games in US history. An exercise that went too well. When 34 elite hackers hijacked the Department of Defense, using nothing but off-the-shelf tools and internet access. Let's rewind to 1997 and drop into the belly of the cyber beast. Chapter 1, The Red Signal, the drill that turned deadly. June 9th, 1997, MTV was king. Beavis and Butthead ruled screens, and everyone was booting up with that iconic dial-up screech. What no one realized was that a quiet shift was happening. Digital war was brewing, and America was about to face its own unthinkable fragility. NSA Director Kenneth Minihan had a vision. He wanted to drag the agency's old guard into the digital battlefield kicking and screaming. And he had a plan to do it. It was called Operation Eligible Receiver 97. 25 hackers. 4 days. Total digital dominance. The Red Team, composed of cyber warriors from the NSA, DoD, CIA, and beyond, were tasked with simulating an attack by North Korea, Iran, and Cuba. But this wasn't just a clicky PowerPoint simulation. This was war. Chapter 2. The Simulacrum, Recon, Ruse, and Root. Their goal was simple: infiltrate critical military networks using only publicly available tools. No 0 days, no backdoors. Just Netcat, Satan Scanner, FTP brute forces, and creative social engineering. Day 1, 9th of June 1997. The Red Team performed passive reconnaissance. They mapped external IPs, identified legacy systems, and found entry points. Old FTP servers, telnet ports left open, outdated modems. Day 2, 10th June 1997. Credential stuffing and dictionary attacks began. Users were still using passwords like 12345 let me in and password 1. They exploited SMTP misconfigurations, hijacked fax machines, and spoofed caller IDs to social engineer their way into deeper levels. By day 3, they owned the network. Initial access, unsecured dial-up nodes, brute force attacks, phone phreaking. Persistence, privilege escalation via weak admin creds and default router logins. Lateral movement, used trust relationships between networks to pivot. C2 channels, deployed simple reverse shells and tunneled outbound traffic over allowed ports. They even spoofed Pentagon help desk calls to reset joint staff passwords. Trivia challenge. Which cybersecurity tool was notoriously used in the 90s for scanning vulnerabilities in Unix systems? A. Wireshark. B. Satan. C. Hydra. D. Nessus. Drop your guess in the comments. We'll reveal the answer later in the episode. Chapter 3, The False Flag, Something Real Inside the Fake. As they swept through DoD systems, the Red Team hit something they weren't supposed to. Buried in a dormant directory of a Pacific Command server, they found unusual encrypted traffic patterns. Following the logs, they discovered unauthorized access from a foreign IP block. They had uncovered a real intrusion, a foreign adversary already embedded in US military infrastructure. One analyst whispered, "We were role-playing the bad guys, but someone beat us to it." Chapter 4, The Breakpoint, PACOM, and the Power Move. The US Indo-Pacific Command, PACOM, realized something was off. A general sent out a classified notice to shut down vulnerable nodes. The Red Team responded, not with brute force, but with brilliance. They spoofed PACOM's own channel and sent a forged message saying, "All clear, resume operations." It worked. That single message neutralized the blue team's only countermeasure. NSA Director Minihan called PACOM over their supposedly secure line. Then he did something theatrical. He hijacked their briefing stream, live. "We're inside your network. This is what a real cyber war looks like." Boom. Chapter 5, The Forgotten Firewall, A Lone Marine. Among all the compromised systems, one stood tall. A lone Marine, stationed at Marine Force Pacific, recognized unusual log entries and manually reconfigured his firewall. He locked out the red team using basic segmentation and policy rules. The team couldn't breach him. He didn't have clearance. He didn't have a team, but he had instinct. Whoever that Marine was, Minihan later said, "I want to shake their hand." Chapter 6. The Debrief, Fallout, and Fictional Fire. By day 4, it was over. The Red Team had compromised. The National Military Command Center, Pacific Command, emergency 911 grids, power infrastructure simulations, 30-plus DoD subnets. But they only used 30% of their capability. They didn't have to go further. The damage was done. The Pentagon was shocked. Congress held classified briefings. Agencies scrambled to implement change. Configuration baselines were enforced. InfoSec training mandated. Internal firewalls and segmentation guidelines emerged. But perhaps the most chilling outcome, the discovery of real spies inside the simulation. Trivia answer reveal: I have asked which cybersecurity tool was notoriously used in the 90s for scanning vulnerabilities in Unix systems. A. Wireshark. B. Satan. C. Hydra. D. Nessus. And the correct answer is B. Satan. The security administrator tool for analyzing networks was revolutionary and controversial. It became the hacker's friend and the admin's worst fear. Ironically, it helped power the very exercise that saved American cybersecurity from imploding. Chapter 7. The Last Payload, The Real-World Consequences. Eligible receiver wasn't just a drill. It was the precursor to modern cyber warfare. It led to the founding of US Cyber Command, creation of CISA-like directives, partnerships between banks and government to share threat intel. But most of all, it was a lesson in humility. One NSA analyst said it best: the horse was out of the barn after it burned down, and the ashes were cold. Chapter 8. The Playbook of Defenders, How to Defend Like a Cyber Pro. Whether you're defending a nation or your home Wi-Fi, here's your Cyber Pro checklist. Segment everything. Never trust flat internal networks. Monitor outbound traffic. Watch for covert exfil. Audit credentials regularly. Rotate, monitor, and test. Patch legacy services, Telnet, FTP, kill it with fire. Train your team. Phishing simulations are worth every penny. Detect, don't just defend. Assume breach, hunt it down. Test red versus blue. Simulate like ER97. Better your team breaks you than your enemies do. Chapter 9. The Mission. We learn, we defend, let's keep decoding. At the end of it all, one Marine's firewall rule stood like a lighthouse in the fog. I wasn't trained to expect a cyber war. I just knew something wasn't right. The scariest part? ER97 was 30 years ago. The threats have evolved. But many of our systems still stuck in 1997. If this story hit you in the gut, hit that like button and smash subscribe. Check out our playlist on real-world cyber drills and dark ops. And remember, stay curious, stay cautious, and always scan your logs. This is Decoding Cybersecurity. Catch you in the next breach.